the price comparative of auto insurance. The problem is the insurance companies, I think, have done agencies a disservice by billions of dollars of advertising to say that the only thing that matters is the cheapest price, the biggest discounts. And what really ultimately matters is saving a few dollars on your premium and then having substandard insurance. So a lot of people are saving money because they don't have enough coverage. And so what I try and do is get out of apples to apples, because lower is lower. I mean, I can't change math, right? I can't change that fact. It's just a fact. So I have to change the client's perspective. And again, they say that's too much. That's usually going to result. Usually what people are saying is, what kind of coverage do you have now? Or if and you're comparing. So if you think about it, when you're trying to get the insurance business of somebody else, they're already insured with someone else. So you're somewhat of a pirate, right? You're trying to steal that business away, right? There needs to be another reason why they come to you. And so what I try to do is just shift the entire conversation. So I'll take longer to explain, but I try and shift it to what I call the you first conversation, the uninsured, underinsured first conversation. Because if you think about it, you and I were talking earlier about 5100, 100, 300, 250, 500. What are we referring to there? Liability limits, right? So we're in apples to apples if we're talking about liability limits. What I might say to the client is, we'd really appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. And we believe that our primary responsibility is to protect our client first and address the things that could cause them harm and damage first, and then address the issues that the law says we're required to do, which is to protect other people if we hurt them. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I like me a lot. And then say, one of the biggest risks that people face is that a lot of people drive around with either no insurance at all, they actually drive around uninsured, or they carry the state minimum legal limits, which are very, very, very tiny. They wouldn't even pay to repair most cars. If you were in a car accident, what do you think the chances are that you're going to be hit by a surgeon with millions of dollars of coverage, or you're going to hit by a college student with no coverage? And people, being how people are, I'm going to probably get the college student. Okay. So what we want to talk about first is making sure that you have sufficient levels of uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. Has your other agent ever talked to you about this issue in this level of detail? And they were like, no. And right away, they're like starting to doubt the other agency, right? And you're also starting to show that you're more advisory. See, I need to keep this person on the phone. I need to keep them engaged. So I'm getting them to visualize accidents and surgeons and college students. And no, they never talked about this. Tell me more. And so we'll just kind of talk to them about the cost of, surgeries in hospitals, and it's huge. And, what kind of uninsured do you have? And, well, we all know that it's usually the same as their liability limits, right? So they've got their cheap insurance of 5,100. Their uninsured motorist, if they have it, is really low. And all of a sudden they're like, no, I need 250,000 uninsured motorists. Say, okay, well, in most states, the law says whatever you put on the other person, you have to have, whatever you put on yourself, you have to have on the other person. So we'll make your liability limits the same, 250. Now, of course, this is different coverage, but it's superior coverage. It's better coverage. You're better protected. The cost for that is X, but when you of course, bundle that with, and then you go into the home, we can provide you with our best price if you were, and that whole thing that everybody's pretty familiar with. So I'm just trying to change the conversation, because I cannot explain away $100 versus $200. It's simply, no matter how good you are, that's more. And I don't want to battle that battle. But what I do know is I want that person to see that we're advisory. And hey, you know what? Yeah, it's a little more, but it sounds like these guys are worth it. And frankly, when I talk about my auto quote, if they will allow me to do it, I'm actually going to say, I really appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. And I want you to know that we're going to protect you from the four major financial risks of driving. And I'll go into what those are. And one of those is if a breadwinner was hurt or killed in a car accident. So when I sell my 1 or 2 line household, I'm actually going to get them in for my 3rd and 4th line by talking about the other risk of driving, which is you could get hurt or killed or such. So I think the idea is, if we just go out there saying, hey, can we quote your auto? Hey, can we quote your auto? Hey, can we quote your auto? You are subject to, well, if we're more expensive, we lose.